Hi, I'm Sam, and it's a joy to be with you. And I just want to share a few of my thoughts and my heart this morning for what I see happening in our city right now. And we've been looking at Acts, and so I'm going to be taking one of the passages today and sharing from that. And I enjoy the Bible because so often it takes ordinary situations, and because we see God working, it turns it into something extraordinary. And this passage is about an ordinary journey that the disciples took every day at 3:00 in the afternoon, but God turns up and does something extraordinary. And I feel like in this season, we've been so much more heightened to the sense of journey in our lives have been sort of affected in so many different ways. We've seen them halted, we've seen them paused, we've seen them changed. And for some people, we've seen them like accelerated. We've seen growth in extraordinary ways. And that's been kind of challenging. And I don't know what your sort of journey is. I don't know what scale you're at, but I want to say to you this morning that God sees you, He knows you, and He wants to empower your life afresh with His love for your journey. So this morning, let's take a look at what happened with the disciples, because they were on this journey that they took every single day, and they had an encounter with a guy on the streets. This guy, because of his social situation, his disability, was outside of the temple gates. He was exploited. Every day he was basically taken and plonked outside the temple gates, and he was on the streets there begging. We don't know whether the disciples stopped for him regularly or whether they ignored him, whether they turned away or whether they had regular conversations. But we see on this particular moment in history, the disciples decided to stop. And I believe, like God, He uses times in history. His timing is perfect. And He chose this moment to pour His love and compassion down. And we see the disciples stopping. So many things have stopped, haven't they, in our lives? At St. Peter's and St. Cuthman's, we've seen so many things that we've loved stopped. We've seen our church services halted. We've seen our social gatherings. Many times that we've been able to connect, like the things we've enjoyed have been paused. But one of the things that I've been relieved that hasn't stopped and hasn't paused over that time has been our outreach and our work through Safe Haven. And in fact, in that season, I felt God saying, you need to look out to the city more. You need to extend your reach to more people in the city. And we've seen extraordinary things happen as we've done that and as we've sort of seen and looked out to the need in our city. And I think in this moment, in this passage where the disciples, they stop and they look directly at the need. And they make a request back to this lame man who is asking and begging for money. They say, look at us. And we've seen in this kind of season where we have shown, where we've not shied away, I suppose, from looking at the need in our city, we've seen more looking back, I suppose, to us as a church, because we've not shied away from looking at what is happening around us. We've been able to support more people through delivering hampers and meals. We've been available befriending. And I think people are starting to look back. They're starting to say, gosh, what might this church, what might God want to show me or offer me at this time? And it's quite extraordinary. Looking at what Peter and John say here, they could have been overwhelmed. This man has a disability. He is lame on the streets. He has no way to pay for his care. As we've seen, he is carried back and forth to the streets and left all day to beg. They could have been overwhelmed, and yet they have an answer to his problems. And we see what Peter says. He says, silver and gold I do not have, but what I do have, I give to you. In the name of Jesus Christ, get up and walk. And what's so exciting right now is that Peter realizes the authority he has. He has an authority in Jesus Christ. He knows that the salvation is what this man needs. And we live with that same authority. We don't need to be afraid. We can look at the need of our city. We can look at the situations around us and not be overwhelmed. We can go out onto the streets and realize that we have a solution that's far bigger than any kind of physical needs that need to be met. And what's also so exciting in this time is that our God is a really practical God. And what Peter does next is he gives this man his right hand. He is a highly practical God, and that he increases that connection with this man. And in that moment, the healing is taking place. It says in this passage that the man's feet and his ankles become strong, and he gets up. And I'm so excited about what is happening in our community, in our churches. We are continuing to look out. We are creating a hope and wellness centre, and we're basing it right in the heart of our city in a cafe just like 5 minutes up the road from St. Peter's. It's 2 minutes from the Brighton station. And our desire is to create a safe place for those that are most vulnerable and marginalised to be able to come, to be seen, to be known, to be loved, that they will experience the love and the compassion of Christ in that place, that we will be able to give our best right arm to those people in support. But more than that, that they will know that the love of Christ is for them, and they will experience, I know this, they will experience extraordinary miracles in that place as we extend our reach to them. And we're building teams of people that want to be part of this, that kind of want to join the vision of this. Only this week, it's been amazing, just meeting different people, different partners. And in fact, I met a lovely young girl. She's just qualified as a solicitor. And I felt quite humbled because she was explaining her passion for justice, and she sees so many people that can't afford legal advice. She said, like, Sam, I know I'm at the beginning of my journey in law, but would you like me to help? If there's anyone that I could support, I would love to do that. And we have many, many women, particularly those that we support and come alongside through Safe Haven Women, Safe Haven Mother and Baby, who feel crippled by fear and through an inability to know how to navigate the legal system. And we're just so excited by the fact that this young woman will be giving her best right arm to support those women. And we know that the love of Jesus is going to come in a powerful way, and those women are going to literally get up and walk in the and be healed and transformed. And what's so exciting is that all these things are going to be happening on the streets of our city. Transformation is going to be happening out there. And the ripple effect is that they're going to come back into the temple. It says the lame man came back into the temple and he was jumping and praising God. And that's what we're expectant for. That's what we're hoping for. And I suppose what I want to say to you and to me is, are we ready to be a people of compassion? Are we ready to really know that we live with this authority in Jesus? Are we deciding to be unafraid to look outwards, to look at the need, not to be overwhelmed? And are we ready to give our best right arm? And I'm excited. Let's go for it.